you have a knife and not know what to do with it? Have you ever read a recipe that has all sorts of French terms like Julienne, Mince, Battone, and you have no idea what they are? Stick with us and we're going to show you. I'm Derek.
And I'm Xander.
Today we're going to show you how to use your chef knife and your little chef knife to properly cut vegetables like a professional chef. You ready to do this thing?
Yeah!
Let's do it. First thing, when we grab our cutting board, is we need a secure cutting board. We need to secure the cutting board. So right now, this thing slides all over the place, right?
Right.
So the best way to secure your cutting board safely is to take a paper towel, get it wet. Can you lift the cutting board up for me, buddy?
Sure.
Thank you, sir. There we go. Put your wet paper towel down. Put the cutting board back on it. There we go. And now I have to put my entire body weight into that in order for it to move. So right now, this is as secure as we need it to be. And now it's safe. Now we have less chance of slipping or cutting ourselves. So we have all sorts of different French terms in the culinary world for the different cuts of vegetables. We have everything from dicing, small, medium, and large. We've got Brunoise, mince, rough chop, chiffonade, oblique, rondelle, bias, which we're gonna have Xander do today, okay?
Okay.
And the way that a chef gets really, really good at what they do is constantly doing the repetitive task, doing it over and over and over and over again. You become more comfortable holding your knife. You become more comfortable with where your hands are on the board, and you become more comfortable with all of those terms. So we're gonna move pretty quick through. We're gonna just kind of show you the main ones that we see almost every day, either reading in a recipe or going to a restaurant or watching TV, and just the types of cuts today that we're gonna do at home. So first and foremost, we're gonna do a bias cut or a slice. So what is this?
A celery.
It is a piece of celery. So I'm gonna put this down on the board. Do you remember how we hold a knife?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead and show me.
Put our thumbs right here.
Yep, put our thumb there. And then we squeeze with our finger. Yep. And then the rest of our fingers hold on the back. Yep, good. And then what do you do with your other hand? What shape?
A C.
A C, and that keeps your
cuts.
Exactly. It keeps your fingers out of the way, gives you a surface to write off of. And where's your thumb?
In jail.
In jail, and that's where he wants it to stay. Now, this celery, it has a couple of parts that we don't want. We don't want the very bottom end, right? Because that's where the root was. That's where the dirt is. I'm going to put that in a bowl to throw in the trash. We're going to spin it around. Now, we can use the tip where the leaves are. So I'm going to cut that off. I'm going to grab a bowl, put that right there. And this is going to be our stock bowl.
Okay.
So we're not wasting. We're going to make a whole nother video on how to reutilize the different parts that we couldn't use in this video, but also so that we were not wasting, but also all of the vegetable cuts that we're going to do today, we're going to turn them into vegetable and chicken stock that we're then going to make soup and sauce out of. How's that sound? That sound good?
Sounds good.
Okay, so I've got the celery clean, ready to rock and roll.
Yep.
My knife is in hand firmly, ready to rock and roll, right? My C grip is ready. So I'm going to start here. Can you see?
Yep.
Okay. Actually, I'm going to turn it right here. That way you can see. We're going to go all the way up to the edge, right?
Yep.
And then we're going to take my knife and we're going to make a rocking motion, kind of like a train, like the train that just passed through our neighborhood. And that's going to be the motion that we're going to be using to slice. We're using the whole cutting edge. So every time we draw back, it goes down. We draw back, and it goes down. We draw back, it goes down. So for those that are watching, it looks like something like this. See how the knife is bud up to my finger? So it's never gonna cut my fingertips. Now I'm moving pretty fast. We can slow it down. We can change how thick these are too, right? We're gonna clear that out of our way. Okay? We're just gonna
Okay.
keep going. So those are slices. Now a bias in French means slant, right? So if we want to slant, we turn our knife 45 degrees. The C grip stays the same, and then we start cutting. You see how that changes the shape?
Uh-huh.
So we'll remove the knife off the board, and now we've got pieces that look something like this, and we've got little half moons, right? Or a slice, right?
Right.
So now I'm going to clear the board. Go like this. The blade is always down on the board as a scrape, so it's never going to actually cut my hand. And then I'm using the actual blade to move things off into my stock bowl. So we'll use those later. Okay? So, your turn. Just take that off. Ready? Set. Slide through. There we go. Okay. Now cut. See that seam right there?
Mm-hmm.
Go right there. Perfect. Okay. That's for our stock later. Okay. Yep. You ready? Good job. Good slice. Excellent. Okay, ready to do a bias?
Yep.
I trust Xander, so I feel confident that I can reach in and grab things out of his way. But when you are cutting on a cutting board with someone else, never try to reach across them. That's a really quick way to get cut too. So, okay, you ready?
Yep.
Great. Now while he's cutting, yep, keep going. He's doing a great job. This is a super awesome bias. Looks just like mine. Can't tell whose is different, right? So, while you're cutting, we've got all sorts of other cuts to talk about too. So we're doing the bias, we've got the slice as well, but we've got things like a rough chop on our herbs, where we just run our knife through, right? Let's do bing, 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 bing. So we also have an oblique cut, but it is at an angle with the knife and an angle with the carrot itself. And that oblique cut makes odd angles, but everything is the same shape, so that way it roasts all the same. If in culinary school they would measure us to make sure that everything was properly sized, because it does have an actual dimension. Then the smaller of the dices, there's Brunoise, which sounds really funny, spelled like Brunoise. But it's the tiniest dice above a mince. And mincing, typically, you'll see mincing being called for garlic. You want it really, really, really tiny and fine, so it spreads out in an entire dish. And there's Julienne. You can Julienne a carrot. It's the matchstick cut, so it looks like the bottom end of a match. It's the same thickness. It's very finely sliced. And again, it looks very, very fancy on a dish, but everything's cut the same size, so it all cooks evenly.
Okay.
Then there's a Battone, which is baton in French. Batons look like sticks or wands, so they're a bigger Julienne. So this one's called a Rondelle. In French, it's round or coin. So I'm going to show you. So we're just cutting coins or rondelles, just like that. That's that. Bingo. Just like so. Now, we'll put that in our stock. Now it's your turn. Got your knife held right? Yep, perfect. C grip. Good job, bud. There we go. Yep, good. And I love that you put your wrist down on the ground. This is great. You instinctively, hold on. You instinctively put your wrist down. See right
without
here?
thinking.
Yep, but that automatically kind of anchored your hand because you were having trouble with it rolling, right? Okay, so now we're gonna go down. See how that worked? Okay, no, slide your hand back a little bit. Perfect. Watch this thumb, it's not in jail. There we go, now it's in jail. Down and through. Woo! That one took off. There we go.
Oh, like a wheel.
Yep. Perfect. All right, we'll do the rest with a big chef knife, okay?
Okay.
Actually, you know what? This is gonna be perfect to make chicken stock in our next video.
Okay.
And if you want to see that, you should definitely like and subscribe. Press that bell notification so that way when we're ready to send that out to you, when we make this stock next, you're gonna be the first ones to get it. And I can tell you what, right now we've got chicken roasting in that oven and it smells fantastic in here, and we cannot wait to show you how to turn that into a bunch of different things too. We're gonna show you a dice. Now, there are a number of different variations of a dice. I've just got an onion for the sake of it right now. We have peeled all the husk off of it. we've taken the top stem area off and cut that flat. And at the very bottom where all of the roots are, we just cleaned that up too, so that way it's not all frilly all over the place. And then simply cut it in half. So the smallest in order goes Mince, then Brunoise, then small dice, then medium dice, then large dice. All variations of the same, just different sizes. To small dice an onion, when it calls for a diced onion, you're gonna follow your lines. You can see these lines here. So you're gonna take your knife, again, holding it properly, C-grip, thumb in jail, right? And then you see the lines, you see how my knife is directly in line with them? We're gonna follow that contour. Now we're not gonna slice on every single line. We're deciding how big we wanna go. I'm moving slow right now, so that way everybody can see. You see how I've cut all the way through? Kind of looks like a blooming onion now. Just like that. Now what we're gonna do is take and we're gonna cut this right here in half, just like this. We're gonna go across. My fingers are up. This is the tricky part, right?
Yep.
We're gonna just kind of saw in a little bit. This is making sure that everything's gonna look the same. It's gonna be all even. And then once we're there, then we're gonna go across our lines. Just like that. And you see how each one of those pieces is roughly about the same size?
Yeah.
So this right here is a small dice onion. Okay? Now, you're thinking, but wait, Derek, there's waste. You can get really, really tight on this and actually cut almost all of that down to the root. You don't want to eat the root. That's just, it doesn't taste good and it doesn't feel good in your mouth. But what I do with these is that's good enough for me here at home. And this is not being wasted. This is the base for my stock pool. So that will go into our next video. So I've got a small dice. Your turn. We're going to actually use the tip of our knife this time. We're going to start all the way on this side, this way. You're going to go in and pull back. And then another one. Perfect, okay? So what you're doing is you're leaving the root intact to hold on to everything for you, instead of it falling all over the place. And you see how each one of these is pretty much the same. You're doing great. Okay, and then we're going to do two more. Ready? Yep. Now you can move your hand out of the way and just hold the rest of your onion. Perfect. Okay. Now we have to even it out, and we have to take our knife like this. Okay. Yep, just hold on. And we're going to kind of slice in. Great. Then you want to push it back together. And then C-grip. Oh, yep, perfect. Nope, other way. There you go. Okay, move back just a touch. There you go. And down it goes. Excellent, dude. You got it. Like this. We're going to scoop it. Good job. Yep, you can put it in the stock bowl. That's fine.
Oh.
Perfect.
Oh, that smells strong.
Yeah, that onion smells strong, right? Okay.
Oh, it's gonna make me go tears.
Yep. Yeah, well, and it doesn't help if you rub actual raw onion into your eye, buddy. So those are just a number of the different cuts that you're going to see in recipes again. So that way you're not completely confused or wondering what that means. And the importance of knowing all this is that every recipe calls for at least one of them. Every recipe needs a vegetable cut. So having our knowledge on our knives is super, super important. I hope that has kind of illuminated the world that not only do I come from, but the world that we're going to teach you. The different terminology and the look of the way the cuts are, that everything is cut the same equally and evenly, so it cooks the same and your recipes turn out perfectly every single time. But if you're just joining the Red Shoe Chef page for the first time, before we go, we have a video here that we would love it if you'd watch that goes into depth on what knives we actually use in the kitchen. And while you're there, you can check out the videos that you can meet us, who we are, and kind of our backstory, and a video about what colors we use to build our palette.
Mm-hmm.
What color did we add today?
Green.
Green and maybe?
Orange.
An orange. So we've added a couple crayons to that culinary crayon box, building our palette. Even though we haven't tasted anything today, we've touched, we've seen, we've smelled, And we've cried a little bit. Those onions are pretty spicy, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
So, until the next one, we'll see ya.
Bye.